Okay, so today I want to talk a bit about why I think real life is actually a big poker game. So for those of you guys who don't know anything about professional or semi-professional or amateur poker or poker at all, let me tell you something about it. It is not actually a big game of gambling. No, this is actually kind of a sport, which involves many different factors in order to get into profit. So let's say you actually know what a bankroll is. So you have a bankroll. This is your money that you can use for playing poker, right? So this is a factor that you have to consider. Then when you're actually in the game, you have different positions in the table. You have a different amount of players participating in the table. You have a stack, you know, your amount of chips. Or your bankroll if you're playing a cash game or whatever, the amount that you're playing right now with, or chips when you're playing in a tournament. Then you have your cards. Let's say you're playing Texas Hold'em. You have two cards. Every player gets dealt two cards. Then there will be a flop, you know, there will be cards put on the table. So I don't want to explain to you guys how poker works or how to play it. I just want to get you closer to the idea that there are many different factors that need to be put into consideration in order to make the right decision to have the higher chance of winning statistically. So why do I think poker is actually like real life, or real life is actually like poker? So let's say you're some kind of super genius, a super professional super poker player, and you can watch this on YouTube. You know, there are a lot of professional poker players who actually are quite common to make all the right decisions. So let's say you put all these factors into consideration. You know your position, you know your stacks, you know the players in the game, how they play, how they react, everything around you, your environment, you know it. And now you have the factor that you can control. You have your two cards and you have the choice what you can do with those two cards, right? And let's say you make everything right. You bet the right amount of chips. You make the right decision depending on the statistics that you will win this hand. But you still lose it. This is poker. You make everything right, but you still lose. And this is also in real life the same thing. Sometimes you're making all the right decisions. You're doing everything right. You're putting in the work, but you still lose this hand. Maybe you even still lose the tournament. Some people get this unlucky. So why did I say in the beginning of the video that poker is not a big game of luck? So think about this. Statistically, you need to play a lot of hands. You need to play a lot of tournaments. You need to play a lot of games. And I'm talking about not hundreds of games, not thousands of games, not 10,000s of games, 100,000 of games of poker where you make almost every time the right decision. And then eventually you will progress and you will get into a surplus of money. So many players make all of the wrong decisions. They just gamble. They make anything that comes to their mind based on their feeling, on their emotions, on what they think is right just now in the moment, just in real life. And somehow they still win the table. But in the long term, if they continue playing the game, which most people will do, because they think, oh, I won with my bullshit, so now I'm going to win again because I'm so great. No, you were not great, you were just lucky. In the long run, those people, they will go bankrupt. So as almost everyone in real life. Why am I talking about this analogy? It is not to discourage you guys, it is exactly the opposite. I want you to get aware of what you're actually doing with the cards you're dealt. Just because you have some shitty pair in your hand, right now for the moment, that doesn't mean you need to play with these cards. Maybe you should just take a break and focus on a different table. You know, in PokerStars and online poker, you can play many different tables at the same time. Or you just fold for now and let the others play their game and then come back with the stronger hand. On the other side, sometimes you get dealt a really good hand in the beginning. Then the cards flop on the table and you see your ace pocket pair now seems kind of useless considering that there is a straight and a flush draw. So for those who have no idea about poker, now the cards were put on the table. In the beginning you thought, oh, with this hand I'm guaranteed to win. But the flop happened and now it looks totally different. Now you're not so confident anymore in your pair, because you should not be so confident in your pair, because there's a big possibility that the other players at the table right now have the upper hand. So there's no need to panic, there's a need to observe. And you can still stick to this ace pair, just keep hopes or any expectations out of the game. As soon as you start expecting something that you will win or you will lose or whatever, you will be disappointed, because this is not in your control anymore. What is in your control is considering all the different factors that are needed in order to calculate your percentage of winning. How can you use this analogy in your real life? Consider your position, consider the hands you are dealt, look at your stacks, and don't play without your feelings. Don't make decisions out of your feelings. Yes, maybe you have done all the right things. Maybe you have worked hard. Maybe you have been brave. You have been honest. You have been upright. You have been divine. You have been everything that is written in the book. You know, you have played everything by the book. And you still lost. Normally, when this happens in poker, even to professional players, they start to tilt, which is also called steaming. That means they are now super pissed. They are pissed off because they lost, even though they played everything by the book, because some guy decided to go in with his shitty hand and somehow made a big hand on the flop. And no one would have ever thought of this kind of play. So now what? You want to hold on to this feeling of anger, of disappointment, of rage. It will bring you nothing. No, in fact, it will be put into the next hand, and you're most likely to lose the tournament now because of your damn emotions. And it doesn't even feel good, right? So just let go of this emotion, tap in back to your mind, say, okay, actually, I played everything right. Or maybe I thought I played everything right. I will get into this in a second, but I still lost. No matter what, I will continue playing. I know in the long run, I will win this race. The next big thing is getting some kind of coach or mentor. If you don't have one, you need to put in the work yourself. That means even super professional poker players still have someone who analyzes their hands and their games and their mistakes and their things that they did good, the things they need to improve on. You also need to do this kind of stuff in your real life. So when I'm talking about letting go of all your hopes, of your expectations, let's say you married someone. You guys signed the contract that you will be honest to each other, that you will not cheat on your partner, right? But why are so many people married and are still cheating on each other? Why did the president of your government signed a contract that he will serve the people and then decided to do quite the opposite. Why do so many people sign up a contract they will be on time to their job, but then still get fired because they didn't manage to get on time to their job? Because this is human nature. We people make some kind of mistake or become egoistical or become, let's say, I don't know what you guys want to call it these days, narcissistic or whatever. Some people just find it super hard to stick to their contracts. So I don't expect anything from anybody. In fact, I don't even expect anything from myself, except sticking to the things and focusing on what I can control. So I don't expect my partner to be cheating on me, neither do I expect loyalty. I don't expect anything. I just focus on what I can control. I want to be as attractive as possible. I want to be as strong, loving, and caregiving in this relationship as possible and try to lead, or just be there, be present, whatever you want to call it. I'm not an expert for relationships. Maybe I should get even a coach for this, but you catch my drift. So let me get further into this topic. Get rid of your expectations, get rid of your hopes, and focus on the things you can control. That means set some goals, whatever you want to achieve, and then start working towards these goals. Look, what does it need? What does need to be done in order to become this and that? In sports, right? If you want to do some kind of gymnastic skill, or you want to become a kickboxer, you won't just buy a punching bag and punch against this bag in your basement. Yeah, you can be punching for 10 years on this bag in your basement, you will achieve nothing. No, you need to go into a kickboxing gym. Even better, you need to hire a professional trainer. One-on-one coaching if you have the money, if you have the time to afford it. Or just go to a gym, watch a bunch of YouTube videos. Try to somehow figure out what needs to be done in order to progress. And even then, if you do everything right, if you do everything by the book, you might not be able to achieve your goal. But you still know you did everything you could in order to make sure you have the highest chance of achieving this goal. So, what can we take away from this analogy? If you won in life somehow and you're in a good position right now, think, what have you done? Maybe it was just some bullshit that brought you here and you were lucky. So stay humble and don't think, oh, I'm also great. I made this mistake several times in my life. I did the dumbest shit in the life, all the dumb shit. I made the biggest mistakes, the things that were super wrong. And somehow I gained an immense benefit from it. So I started thinking to myself, wait a minute, if all this bullshit brings me to this kind of result, I should continue with this kind of bullshit. But this was just my ass being super stupid, because in the long run, this bullshit led to bigger bullshit. And I had to figure out on my own, oh damn, I shouldn't have been so ignorant. I shouldn't have been so arrogant. I shouldn't have think of myself, oh, no matter what I do, it will be great. No, in fact, it was just luck. It was just God. It was just, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But it was certainly not the actions I did. Right? So maybe sometimes in poker, some guy he will play a really shitty hand, but he will still win the pot. On the other hand, maybe you will do everything right, you will play everything by the book, and you still lose. So continue, and eventually, in the long run, the bullshit will lead to bullshit, the right moves will lead to the jackpot. And also, what I need to tell you guys is you need to play a lot of hands. You need to continue playing, you need to continue trying, and you need to be active and aggressive towards your goals. In poker, a passive poker player, someone who folds all the time, all his hands, he's easily readable. He never bets on the flop, even if he doesn't have nothing, because somehow, sometimes, maybe something will flip. Will come on the river. You need to be active, you need to know your game, you need to know what kind of game you're playing. And also, poker is a fair game. Everybody has the same rules, you know, everybody is playing by the same book. Also, another point, don't let anybody invite you into a rigged game. Sometimes people, they will invite you into a game, their game. Why are they inviting you into their game? I'm not talking about poker right now. This is just an analogy. Why are they inviting you into their game? It is because they cannot lose when you are playing their game. They can only win. They are making the rules, and they certainly don't make the rules for them to lose. So be conscious and think about it. What is this person actually right now trying to do with me? Is this person upright, divine, and trustworthy? Or is this some kind of person who's just trying to gain the upper hand, the advantage? Right? It doesn't even need to be a person. It can be a company. It can even be a country. Is this country just inviting me and all my people over in order for them to gain some kind of advantage for their situation right now? Right? We see this a lot in immigration. So think twice before playing some kind of game. Think twice before participating in some kind of poker. Yeah, you can learn there's learning by doing, but certainly you don't want to ignore all the theory. There should be a good mix between it. And certainly, if you have no idea what you're doing, pick up some kind of book, get some help from somebody who you think is balling in life. You know, when you see something, we don't all have to love the same stuff. I saw some gymnasts. I thought, man, this stuff looks super cool. I saw some calisthenics athlete. I thought, man, this stuff is crazy. I would love to do this. So eventually I started informing myself on the topic and got in touch with the high level athletes, actually with some kind of world record holder in street lifting, and asked him for coaching. So if you see something that pleasures you, not because your mom and your dad said, oh, this would be great for you, or because your friends say we should all start becoming a football team and you don't even like football. No, when you see something and you really like it, you can tell, oh, this is kind of attractive to me. This kind of gives me a good feeling when I watch this. Is super cool. Maybe you should pursue it. And I think you should definitely look out for somebody who will help you get into this kind of topic, and this will boost your progress, because time is really valuable, guys. We are running out of time. Timing is really important. You should not waste any time. I will maybe make a second video on this. For now, that's it. I already have talked a lot. I have said anything I wanted to say about this poker stuff, and now I want to get back to my stuff. I need to be working, and so should be you. And I hope you will all have a great and productive, energized day. So let's stop the talking, put away your phone, or keep watching on your phone. Do whatever you think is right now, in the moment, the necessary thing to do.